Hi there, and welcome to Let's Talk Wellness podcast. This podcast has a vision to empower individuals with knowledge of holistic wellness and self-care by weaving together a rich tapestry of experiences and insights from practitioners around the globe. Today, I am super excited to have our guest, Emily. And before we get into the topic, my name is Shalini. I'm currently a technology professional with over 20 years of leadership experience, and I ventured into wellness many years ago. I would say really just as a way of prioritizing and balancing everything in life. I am a trauma-informed yoga and meditation instructor, an IIN health coach, and a Raiki healer. So today's topic is an introduction to Theta Healing and nurturing this in the next generation's spiritual growth. So I'm going to give a quick bio on Emily, and then I'm going to hand it off so she can share her wonderful journey. And I'm super excited about this topic personally, but I also have grown-up kids. So my vision here is hopefully all the new mamas and those who are having young children, or even those without children, can actually benefit and understand more about Theta Healing and how they can incorporate this in their life. So with that, Emily is a dedicated Theta Healing practitioner, instructor, and a loving mother to one enlightened child. Her mission is to demystify the process of raising new earth children through the power of energy healing. By aligning the energetics of both mother and baby, Emily nurtures the sacred bond between them, guiding mothers to support their child's spiritual growth with unwavering trust and confidence. Through her transformative one-on-one masterminds, self-paced courses, and numerous free offerings, she has empowered countless mothers to heal their own lives and break the cycles of generational trauma and step into their divine roles as nurturers. So today, I'm super excited to welcome Emily. And for those of you who've listened to my previous podcast, on episode 6, we had Jordan talk about meditation and an introduction to healing. And Emily is Jordan's wife. And honestly, I had no clue about that until I had reached out to Emily, and then I realized they were connected. So I am super excited to hear all about Theta Healing. So with that, Emily, the first question, can you help just explain what is Theta Healing, obviously for those who are hearing this term for the first time, and then we'll talk a little bit about your journey and the rest.
Yeah, thank you so much for the introduction. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. I am so excited to talk about, this is my passion. I am absolutely obsessed with Theta Healing. So buckle up, because I'm going to explain to you a lot, as much as I can in this time.
Sure.
So Theta Healing is an energy healing modality that accesses the theta brainwave state through meditation. And so the importance of accessing this meditation, this theta brainwave state, is that when you are a child between the ages of 0 to 7, you are primarily in this state. And this is a state where your mind is most malleable, where you're like a little sponge. So you're absorbing everything about the world, what's right, what's wrong, what's going to allow you to survive based on what you interacted and how you saw your parents and friends and society and what you were taught. And so when you're in this state, you are downloading and instilling beliefs. You're downloading and instilling programs of how life is run. You're also holding on to different emotions tied to those beliefs. So if you think about a child who maybe I'll take my example. I had my younger sister was born 2 years after I was born. So I was about 2 years old. And I went from a child that all the attention's on me to now all of a sudden it's, who is this little being that's taking my mom away from me? Why can I no longer cuddle with her and have all this time with her? And so that was enough of, I want to say, a trauma for myself, that I held on and instilled the belief that I need to suffer in order to be loved. I need to have something bigger, because the only way my mom gave me attention at that time, especially when she was a newborn, was if I threw a temper tantrum, right? If I fell and I hurt myself. So I held on to that belief. And what happens is that you go through your life and you hold on to this belief and you realize, why am I struggling with money? Why am I not able to have the relationship that I want? Why is it no matter what I do, it seems that everything is going wrong? And for myself, I figured out I had this belief when I experienced postpartum depression. Long way of saying, what happens is that once we get out of that theta brainwave state, now those beliefs they're firm. They're how we're going to be running our life. And so what theta healing does is it allows you to tap back into that altered brainwave state of theta to be able to rewrite that program, to be able to change how you've been living based on what you experienced in childhood. And this can even go even further than that, of accessing the beliefs that you hold on a genetic level, on a history level, from past lives, on a collective level, because there are certain beliefs we hold, such as diabetes is incurable, on a collective level. And so we hold all of that in our cells, tissues, and organs, and it manifests as some sort of physical manifestation, whether it's dis-ease in the body, whether it's you being broke, you being sick, you being in a toxic relationship, or something in your reality. Everything in your reality is there because of your beliefs. And so this powerful modality allows you to tap into that altered brainwave state, which not only accesses your subconscious mind, but also accesses the greater mind. And the greater mind allows us to connect with everything, to be connected and one with everything, in the sense that now I can read someone's energy and I can tap into their energy and I can send them healing, even if I'm around the world. And so I hope that made sense. This is a long story of what theta healing is, but it's an extremely, extremely powerful modality.
Awesome. No, that's great. So I'm hearing, again, as children, right? Because we always see they're so innocent, they're naive, they live in their, kind of their zone, right? Where they're just happy, right? And you don't have to do anything to actually trigger and bring that happiness or joy, right, in them. But of course, as we all age and we have all these societal, things imposed on us, I think we just change, right? And I mean, this is awesome just to even understand what this actually means and how you can pull yourself back into that state, right? Mm-hmm. I think that's really amazing to hear. So I'm assuming, right, I mean, some of the things you'll probably share later as well is not just applicable to, children or moms, right? It's a universal, I would say, theme or just guideline, right, which applies to everybody.
Yeah, for sure, because everybody is a creator of their own reality. So what beliefs I'm holding is going to affect the fact that I manifested you, the fact that you manifested my husband and me, right? So this reality is made up of beliefs and energy. And so when we can have the blueprint of our own belief systems, now we are empowered. Now we can change our reality. Now all we have to do is find that belief, find the emotion that's attached to it. And what I like to do as well is find the chakra in which both of those have instilled into. And if you just release the program, download yourself with new beliefs, well, now you're quantum jumping. Now you are going to see your reality in a completely different way. So this modality works for anyone at any time period of their life, because we all have that same makeup. It's just our belief systems that are different.
Got it. So I guess, Emily, I'm curious, how did you get into this journey of wellness, and more specifically, Theta Healing?
Yeah, so my wellness journey started when I was in my first year of university, and I was in for food nutrition, and I was super excited to get into that wellness space. And all of a sudden I got hit with just this stomach pain, and it would not go away. And I went to doctor after doctor and expert, and they all kept saying, okay, well, you have celiac disease, you have IBS. And I was like, okay, great. I've heard that from the first 10 doctors. Now what can I do about it? Like, what can I do to heal it? And they would keep saying, okay, like, we'll avoid gluten, or maybe you need to eat more fiber. But no one gave me the answer of, well, why did it happen? Why all of a sudden I was completely fine, then one day it just hit me, and it lasted with that pain and the inflammation. Like, it just seemed like my whole health went downhill. And because I was in food nutrition, it really irked me when doctors would tell me, just eat more fiber. Or maybe you're not actually eating healthy because you're in university. And I'm like, no, I'm doing what I need to do. And so that's when I started going the alternative route. And I started looking at more holistic ways, trying to find the why to my physical dis-ease. And I went to Reiki, and I went to a naturopath. I went to Chinese medicine, and I was slowly starting to piece things together to see, okay, like there is some sort of energetic hold that's creating this. And then I was referred to Theta Healing from a coworker. And I was like, okay, what is Theta Healing? Which is usually the response I get whenever I tell people I'm a Theta Healing practitioner. Like, what is that? And so I was in that same space, and I went into the session, and she was explaining to me what was going to happen, what Theta Healing was. And there was this click that, like, knowing that there is something here. My soul has done this before, and this is it. And after one session, my symptoms went away 80%. I figured out that I held on to this belief because of some childhood sexual trauma that I experienced at the age of 8, which was connected to my sacral chakra, which is where my intestines are. And the belief that I was holding on to was that and I want to make sure I say this in the right way, that I needed this sickness, this disease, the celiac disease, because I couldn't say no. So this was my opportunity, my mask to, oh, I can't go out with you guys because I'm having stomach pains again. Instead of me having to use my voice because my voice was taken away from me at the age of 8, I didn't have those boundaries. So do you see how everything slowly starts to connect and all the pieces come together? And I was like, there is magic here. When you can understand what the trauma did to you, at what age, what chakra it's attached to, the belief systems that are there, once you clear them, well, now your body no longer has to be in disease. Once you clear them, you no longer have to attract narcissistic partners or be broke, because now it's no longer serving you. And so by clearing those beliefs that it was serving me and I needed it to protect me, all of a sudden, now there's no pain. All of a sudden I lost I lost like 20 pounds just from like inflammation and water weight. Like it was a huge shift, and I've been using it now to grow my business. I attracted my divine husband to me. I was able to conceive my daughter because there was PCOS, physical disease as well, which I reprogrammed, and doctors told me I couldn't have my daughter, and I changed that. And so they can be used, and I use it on a daily basis for every area of my life. Any area of my life where I'm like, I'm not a fan of that, reprogram it, and then it just appears.
Wow. Oh my God. Okay. This is giving me goosebumps because I'm just thinking, how did you just heal yourself? Because I'm sure, I mean, I have a lot of friends. I'm sure folks who are listening to this, right, are all probably going through, just different issues or challenges, right? And I'm also hearing inflammation a lot. I mean, you won't believe it. A lot of people, right? Seriously, it seems like it's one of those things, right? Almost like a trend. I mean, in a bad way, but folks, just having issues because of inflammation. And of course, the doctors just say, hey, it's gluten, maybe it's dairy, maybe it's something else, right? But I'm also curious, so did you change your diet as well? I mean, along with the Theta Healing?
I had changed my diet to eating gluten-free, and at one point I went paleo before I had my Theta Healing. And so, yes, the symptoms did shift.
Yep.
But nothing as drastically as once I cleared the energetic hold to that experience.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
I know you talked about chakra. Can you help
I love the way you say it. I've tried saying it like that, and it just doesn't flow as lovely as you do. So.
No, all good. I would love for you to just explain what chakra means, just for the audience. Maybe you can just give a dummy down version, just so folks understand.
Yeah. So they are spinning vortexes of energy that are in the body, they're around the body, and we go with the 7 primary ones that run up the spine. And they actually start developing in the womb and continue your whole life. But those first 7 years, you're actually developing your root chakra. And then the next 7 years, your sacral, and it continues to go up. And so these spinning vortexes of energy, they are connected to the body, connected to certain belief systems, connected to certain emotions. And so when you can connect the age, the chakra, the belief, the physical manifestation, you now have a clear blueprint of why energetically you're experiencing what you're experiencing. So for example, inflammation. Inflammation is connected to the root chakra, and it usually has to do with a lack of feeling safe. So what the body is doing is that it's putting on layers. If I'm bigger, if I am inflamed, then I can be in quote unquote the illusion of safety, right? It also usually has to do with some energy of fighting against yourself. If there's inflammation, it's part of the immune system. You're fighting against yourself. And so there could be an inner dialogue going on of some big area of your life where you're not fully being honest with yourself. There could be some guilt. There could be some shame. It's something that you have within you that you're fighting against yourself, and your body is showing you this is what's going to happen if we continue to do this.
Wow. Yeah, that's super powerful. So, yeah, I mean, I know we've kind of gone in different directions here, but I would love to just come back to, kind of how do we nurture this, right, with just the next generation, children, and of course, like new mothers, or even, those who have younger children, right? I mean, where do they start?
Yeah, so the first place you start is honestly being honest with yourself and asking yourself if you want to show up better for your kids and maybe your parents showed up for you. Because this is like motherhood 2.0, because not only is motherhood hard enough as it is, but you starting to do that inner work as well, starting to go into your own childhood and starting to choose against your programming. That is one of the hardest things to do, because your survival self says, hey, we can't be abundant because it's not safe. It's serving us to be broke. We can't let our kids just roam free. We need control, because if that's safer, because my parents told me that they needed to control me, right? So you choosing against your own programming is extremely difficult. So the first place to start would be to find a tribe that's doing this as well. So when you're faced with those triggers and those moments of, oh my God, what's going to happen? The fight or flight, because you're choosing something different, you have a community to rely on, because there's not that many moms doing this work. It's much easier to go through this and just pretend that your childhood didn't happen, right? It's much easier to go numb. And that's why a lot of moms also experience the postpartum depression and anxiety, because their inner child is saying, hey, this isn't working for us. And your child is going to continue to reflect to you what you need to heal. And so if you're ready for that, if you're willing to take on that, which is an extremely rewarding process as well, because watching your child grow up without the same programming as you did, to grow up free and liberated, like an unprogrammable child is like the mission for me. I want my daughter
liberating
to be
in itself,
right? To be so strong and so certain and so empowered to love herself completely, have complete self-worth. Like, these are things that as adults and as moms, we're like, I wish I could have had that growing up. We're going to therapy for this now, right? We're going to healings for this because our parents didn't know any better. So the first place is really being honest with yourself and saying, do I want to raise a liberated child? Because if you do, this modality is like the greatest tool you could have in your toolkit, because you're going to understand how beliefs are formed. So you can know when your child's going to be instilling certain beliefs, what words to say and to not say to support the development and the instilling of certain beliefs. And I'll give you a little tip here. The brain can't pick up on the word don't. So if you say don't touch that to your kids, which how often do parents say that? Mm-hmm. What happens is that your child hears touch that. So they'll touch something and then you'll get angry at them. And then what that's doing is that's going to be instilling in them, wait, can I trust myself? Because my inner knowing said, I received this message of touch it, but I got in trouble. So now it's, I will be hurt, or I will be in trouble, or I will be punished if I trust myself. As simple as that.
Yep.
And it's not to put any shame or blame on moms or to have them think that, okay, it's all on me. because each child has their own unique blueprint as well, which you learn how to access through Theta Healing, and you can learn how to read their energy. And having something like human design, great. Their birth chart reading, amazing. These are tools that you can use that then help with the support of Theta Healing to to raise them in the highest and best way, free and liberated and with empowering beliefs.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's super powerful. So,
Drink of water after that one.
Yeah. So if you had to just, I don't know, break it down to maybe like 3 things that you do, right? I mean, just as a parent, as a mom, and also, I mean, just both of you as parents, actually, right? What would that be? Just maybe simplify 3 things. Let's just say.
So on a daily basis, the first thing I do when I wake up is I connect with this altered brainwave state. So you naturally dip into it when you first wake up. So you can access this and you can start doing that healing and reprogramming during that time. But I like to go to that space and I'll send my daughter healing, send myself healing, download myself with the programs I want for the day, program my day, bend time, like whatever I want to do, which is all possible through Theta Healing. Then every single day, I think I mentioned this, but in a deeper way, I balance my daughter's chakras. And we both do this. My husband and I both do this. We alternate on it. And what this does is it protects her auric field as well, because when we start talking more about energy, well, normally your auric field will go out about 12 feet. And that's if like you're healthy. That's like when you're in alignment, it's 12 feet. For these new earth kids coming in, I have found with many of my clients and their kids, it's going out like 24 feet. And because of that, everything that's around them in that radius, they're picking up on that energy. It's interfering with them in some way. So every single day I'm balancing my daughter's chakras and I'm zipping up her auric field. So that way, with all this interaction, she's still staying in alignment. Because the energy in this third plane, it's sometimes heavy. People are carrying around energy that's really heavy, and these kids don't know how to get rid of that, which is why sometimes they throw temper tantrums, or they'll hit, or they'll yell or they won't sleep. Huge. I see that all the time because they're holding on to all this energy and they can't get rid of it. So I make sure I zip it up to allow my daughter to sleep better, to not like scratch my face off, to not have to like have those crying spurts that she used to have before I did this. And the third one I do is I do belief work on myself every day. I notice those moments where I'm triggered and I start asking myself, well, why? What did I fear happening if I chose a different path? And I start digging into my subconscious mind. So every single day I'm learning about myself, I'm growing, I'm healing. And then I'm also going to be showing up for her in the highest and best way.
Got it. Awesome. Mm-hmm. And do you have any success stories, maybe just 1 or 2 to share, right? Just with folks who've gone through Theta Healing. Of course, you already shared your own experience, right? Which I think is just amazing. So I would love to hear, just from your clients, friends who've gone through Theta Healing. How has that helped them?
Yeah, so I'll tell you one story about a mom who went through my Balancing Baby Chakras course. So that was really the focus on doing that, right? Keeping their energy in alignment. And she had never really done energy healing before. And so when she learned this method to start connecting with her child, she was just blown away by the visuals that she got. And her son was having like a stuffy nose and not feeling great. And after she had gone through this method of balancing his chakras and sending him healing to his nose and his throat, she was like, Emily, he like coughed up this like mucus stuff and then it just went away. It was just gone. And she could not believe it. I have another client who is a part of my Mystic membership. So that's for moms who want to really embody that mysticism and like that spiritual awakening. And she actually started doing this work by a couple of the downloads and the activations that I provide in that space. And she lowered her daughter's fever in under 5 minutes.
Wow.
By doing this. Just by sending her healing, just by connecting with her energy, and by releasing her own programming of what it means to have a fever. Because that's one of the things as well that's so empowering about this, is that it takes the mother out of that fear-based place that especially the Western world, has conditioned us to be in. It brings mothers back to that place of trust, which is also something that's so important to me, because you can only do this work if you trust yourself. And when you can trust yourself, you can connect deeper with your child, right? You no longer need a baby monitor. You have an inner knowing, like, my child's awake, my child is needing this, needing that. It's so empowering to do this work. And by knowing how you can release the beliefs that are keeping you in doubt. So if, for example, if in your childhood, your parents said don't, or if you saw spirits and your parents said there's no such things, and you're like, well, what? These experiences that create more doubt in you, but now you have the tools to release that. So now you can be that awakened mother. You can be that mystic to be able to then support them through this work as well.
Oh my gosh, I think I can keep talking about this topic because it seems like, it's like I'm peeling the layers, right? And you can just talk all about this. I mean, I love the passion, and it's also just, I mean, for me, honestly, like, this is also the first time, right? I'm just hearing so much about Theta Healing and how you've healed yourself, obviously others as well. So I'm also curious, right? Like, how do people in the audience, again, if they're hearing this for the first time, right? Where do we get started, right? I mean, do we have to go take a course? Do we have to, go watch videos? Do we need to read something? How do we even get started on this journey, right, with our own bodies?
Yeah, so I'll actually send you a link to a meditation, and it's allowing you to access this theta brainwave state, the same method that I teach my clients in all my programs, my one-on-one sessions. I'll send that to you so they can access that theta brainwave state. And I would say just notice how you feel in that space, because you're going to notice a huge shift. You're going from that place of ego, which you're at in this beta brainwave state, either listening to this audio or this podcast, or if you're running around chasing your kids, or if you're at work, you're in beta. By just going to theta, you're going to feel light and love. It regulates your nervous system. It lowers your cortisol levels. So that in itself is going to affect how you show up in parenting. And then if you want to learn this, that's where the Theta Healing seminars come in. So we have a basic one coming up in next January, 2025. Are we in 2025 next year? Oh my gosh.
Yes, I know. Yes, time flies.
Oh my God. So yeah, the next one's in 2025, and it's just 3-day training seminar where you learn all of this. You learn how to access that theta brainwave state, balance chakras, find the beliefs, reprogram them in 3 days.
Wow, amazing. So obviously I'm assuming you will post that, right, in your social media, etc. So folks, obviously following you can find that information, right? So, oh my gosh, I mean, Emily, this is amazing information. There's a lot to process, right? And there's also
That's what people tell me all the time.
And there's also a lot to learn, right? I mean, I'm inspired already, right? I mean, I want to actually go, experience like this video, the resource that you're going to share, right? Which obviously I'm going to share with the audience as well, right? Because I would love for folks to just experience it and, feel it for themselves and really understand what, Theta Healing even means. And like you
come
said,
join the next training too.
Yeah, and then they can obviously sign up for the training, right? Just to discover even more, because I mean, just based on what you're telling me, definitely people have seen the benefit of this, right? So I'm sure once we experience this theta healing state, right, this is our regular state, I am pretty sure that a lot of folks would, want to come and attend the training and just learn more. So Emily, before we end, I just want to say, if the audience, anyone here wants to reach out to you, where can they find you? Any social media handles? Of course, I'll share that, with the podcast as well. But do you just want to share your social handle for people?
Yeah, so I usually hang out on Instagram at thewild.mom. And you can find all my stories there. I even have what's called a Witches, Mystics, and Motherhood Circle, where we connect bi-weekly and we just talk about all this. And we talk about the spirituality part of motherhood and healing and all the fun stuff. So that's a free resource as well for any moms who are listening who want to get into this world and start doing this work for themselves and their kids.
Yeah, this is just amazing because I've also spoken to Jordan on episode 6. For those who haven't heard him, please go watch episode 6 where he talked about meditation. So, how do you guys do this all? I mean, I feel like you're this power, spiritual duo, spiritual couple, enlightened couple, right? I mean, oh man, I can go on and on. But I mean, how do you both do this?
Well, I actually trained him to be a Theta Healing practitioner. So
Okay.
it's been really helpful for us, even as a couple, to navigate our own triggers and beliefs and our own old programming. So it's really allowed us to be more conscious with ourselves, with our daughter, to ensure that we are supporting each other as we go through these sometimes difficult times of choosing against your programming. And yeah, we still have our fights and we still have our arguments because we're on our own journey, but we see it from that higher perspective now. And so we can hold the space for the other without acting out of that pain.
Awesome. And this training that you mentioned, I'm assuming, is that going to be virtual?
Yeah, it's virtual.
Okay.
I have people all over the world joining it. So I would love to have everybody come together,
Yes.
maybe at some point in the future. But yeah,
Yeah.
but right now, because it is global, then we just do it online.
I have one last question because
Of
it's
course,
just, I think,
of
been
course.
lingering, and I know we've already passed our typical kind of podcast time window, but I would love to just ask, so how is theta healing different from Reiki energy healing? I mean, they both are energy healing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So how is that
And
different?
yeah, and I absolutely love Reiki. I do it on my daughter's food all the time.
Oh, wow.
Reiki, so in Theta Healing, in the seminar, we learn about how there's 7 planes of existence, and each of the planes hold different medicine and actually are bound by different laws. So if you tap into those planes, then you have to abide by certain laws. And Reiki practitioners connect with the 5th plane of existence. And in the 5th plane of existence, what happens is that you have to give your energy to heal another. And so a lot of Reiki practitioners end up feeling drained after a couple of sessions because it's almost like you're channeling through you to heal them. With Theta Healing, we connect with the 7th plane of existence, and that you can stay in perfect health. So that's why I love this modality, is that I can do it really quickly as well. So you don't have to be in front of the person. I can do it with my daughter sleeping, when I'm breastfeeding her, anywhere around the world, and I remain in perfect health. So it's almost just me witnessing the healing of creator and the other person. And I say, like, Reiki is like that first step. So if you want to start this healing journey and you want to receive the healing, Reiki. If you're willing or you're ready to be that healer and heal yourself, then Theta Healing. Because then it takes it a step deeper of, like, you have to go in your own psyche and learn how to do this on your own rather than someone else giving you the healing. Does that make sense?
Got it. But then, I mean, but in both cases, though, you can heal another person, right?
Yes.
Because
Oh, yeah.
in both
Yeah.
cases, you do that. Got
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I love
Oh,
Reiki.
that was an amazing explanation. Thank you.
Yeah. You're so welcome.
As I'm just going through this, that was just lingering in my head, and so I had to just ask the question. So
Yeah.
great. Well, thank you so much, Emily. I really appreciate you taking the time
so
with us
welcome.
today. And I have really learned a lot, and I'm sure the audience
Good.
has as well. And now they know where to reach you on Instagram, wild.mom. Is that correct?
The wild.mom. Yeah.
thewild.mom, and I will definitely share the resource as well that you'll be sharing with me on how folks can even experience that theta state, right? And definitely share your social media channel so folks can actually tune in and attend the event that you plan to host in January, so they can actually just double click and learn more on how to heal themselves.
Thank you.
Thank you again for taking this time.
You.
Thank you.
Bye.